What's up, world? It is hot. Yeah, I am definitely English. If I don't get, it could be cloudy all day is right with me. I can't do this sunny 24/7. And England doesn't really get like bitterly cold, not to my knowledge. So it's more like just cloudy all the time and like kind of moist. That's my favorite thing. But yeah, look at these lines. Stress lines, Itachi lines, they're real, man. Yep. That's what those lines on Itachi were. It wasn't his eye technique, it's what he did. What he had to do and what he endured. Because I think they actually had it like earlier in the anime, they showed him, or maybe they just edited it, where he didn't have the lines when he was younger because he hadn't committed the atrocity. But yeah, I don't like to think about that stuff because it's like telling everyone it's war o'clock. Yeah, if nobody has a plan, like this place is embarrassing, right? Like the moment you have seeds in agriculture, you have more food than you ever planned to have, but it comes at the cost of work. You gotta force the land to do what you want. I was thinking about it. I don't really know of any cornucopias and lands of plenty anywhere in the world. It's like you gotta hunt something down or you gotta gather a bunch of stuff. It's not like there's like 10 different types of food just right next door. Humans had to look for it. They had to forage. They walked a long time. They could jog, things like that. So yeah, the Greys are supposed to be future humans. We just sit down with technology at some point. You can just sit forever and you just become completely intellectual. It's kind of interesting. I'm first generation that. I could touch type before I even had a before I was even allowed to turn the computer on. I was able to touch type. So I learned. I knew that's what I want, how I wanted to express myself. And it has some benefits. You can say a lot that you can't say in public because no one can find you and it's inconvenient. And yeah, it was a good time. And you never know who you're talking to, so I just talked to who I imagined was there. But part of the reason I think I fell on my face a couple times is that there were no girls online. I was always talking to try to get the interest of like a young lady who'd like me, just like using what I liked, right? I have a right to do that. I had a right to do it when I was a kid too. And what I found is that never happened, but I didn't think of it. It's just like I was like, dang, I guess I suck. But what really happened is that Bill Gates had controlled that because he admitted, and there's photo proof that Bill Gates rearranged his whole high school so that all the girls were in class with him, right? And he's in league with people like Jeffrey Epstein who whisk away. They're okay with sending young men to jail for being 18 sleeping with a 17-year-old, but they're off for fucking 14-year-olds. And you know why they're okay with it? It's competition removal. Men think, this is how all men think. No man is a man's friend. They all think all the girls are theirs. They're like programmed with that because the men who did that succeeded. The men who ruthlessly believed they deserved the girl and fought everyone to get her. You know what I mean? It is true. If a girl sees a guy kick a guy's ass over her, she's not going to go with the guy who just had his ass kicked. That's a TV illusion. She's going to drop that guy faster than he didn't exist, right? And that new guy is going to have a surge of energy. He's going to look like a hero, but she's not going to like him unless he really does that all the time. That's my perception. There's still an alpha sort of like physical dominance that has to happen. And if you're a man who can't kick every guy's ass, you're never going to be attractive to alpha winning women. They just won't like you. You're not cool enough. You don't have that edge. I think a loop out of that might be like holiness or prayer if you get a prayer answered. Because I've seen God hook me up with some ridiculous good outcomes. Like, you wouldn't believe the luck I've had in my life. Yeah, leaving home was a great thing for me. Leaving home with a little bit of traveling money, oh my God. I had so much fun. But yeah, never made a baby I didn't take care of. I was good about that. It's one of the rules in my time is if you make it, you got to stick around and make sure they're raised. No making somebody that you forget about. That's something my parents told me, but then they forgot about me, right? I was like right there, and then I'm like, I like art and acting. And they're like, you can't do those. You're no good at those. You should do swimming and baseball. I hated that. I was really good at math, but they didn't want me to go forward too fast because I'd make the other students feel bad. I was like, they were really like limp dick simping out there. Yeah, I think places that hire a lot of government people are that way. The government's just like what do people in the government even do? Just go to meetings and say yes to things. Oh, sure, the blah, blah, blah. A lot of talking about what they have and very little using it. I've seen that. No one really knows what they're doing. But the fact that people figure it out is kind of cool. Yeah. When I see a face in a rock, is it the delusion of a possessed consciousness, or is it a miracle clue left by a personality who knew I'd stumble upon it and he wanted to show that he was? He or she or it, right? My twin flame is a woman. I like women. Don't like men. Never have. They're okay, but not my preference. Like, I've lifted a box with a few. I was like, oh, that was nice. It's nice. But every guy I've known is like, they're not trustable around each other's women. They'll just take your girl. Just because they can, too. They'll act like they're your friend until they find some shit on you they can use, and then they're going to turn on you all of a sudden, make you the enemy, and then they're going to try to steal your girl. And I see it all. I just... it's like an event as predictable as a crow cawing. You know what I mean? It just happens all the time. And it has to do with the evolutionary biology. It has to do with who people are and what actually happened here. What happened here is that everyone only lasts a certain amount of time, save for me. I'm an eternal person now because I'm on camera. I get to give you my opinions, and I don't care how much the people of my time may try to hate me. I don't care how much the people of even 500 years from now may try to hate me. Eventually, because of the way this stuff is going to be stored and squirreled away, someone in some time is going to hear what I have to say and go, oh, that's relevant. Because like I said, I've known for a while I'm like 500,000 years in the future. Like, you guys don't even know what I could possibly give you. You don't even know. Everyone's seeing me and going, you're probably stupid. But the thing is I'm not stupid. I'm actually a super genius, and I'm connected with real insight. I'm connected with a type of super being that has paranormal power and feeds me intelligence, basically. I have God whispering in my ear all the time, and I show proof through my art. My art's done extremely quickly. I make grand frescoes with thousands of characters and multidimensionality and depth of cartooning and depth of feeling and message. You can wander around each of the works I've done with your eyes and behold many wonders, big and small. It has angularity. And it coalesces definitely, too. It's a work of high quality. People from a distance will see it positively as one or two things and will catch the multitude of it, but you could sit with it for years and still notice new things, come up with new details, and like appreciate it. So yeah. Oh yeah, this is another rule too. The bigger the hoop, the bigger the dick she wants. Big hoops means she's like looking for Plowtown, and tiny hoops means she's a little gypsy. She doesn't care, right? There are people who are just simple breeders. They're not like... But yeah. I guess that's the dream, right? To have your soulmate and then to have kids with her your whole life. It takes a mountain of money. People who do it on broke, ugh. That's tough. If you can do that and you hold it together and everyone stays sane and happy, good for you. You deserve a miracle outcome. But as far as I could see, shooting past what you can really materially scrounge together is really hoping for a lot of saving. You know what I mean? You gotta have money. You gotta have like money and huge income and something that's solid to really commit yourself to a bunch of kids, because you better not fuck that up. Because if you do, then that person's going to grow to be a criminal. That person's going to grow to be disappointed. That person will have contempt for their world because they weren't taken care of. People they asked for things and they were told they can't have it because that's not who they are. They were told, get ready to get a job. You know what I mean? If you want it, you got to earn that money. They were told, Dad has the prime directive. He has to screw some chick no matter what, and so he goes for it and keeps going. Well, I do have a slightly different morphology. I believe it's better not to do it if you can't raise it perfectly. You would rather raise it. You would rather aim for perfect children. I'd rather you have a harem in like mega, or me. I'd rather have a harem in mega palaces. Yeah, most gorgeous, most intelligent, most beautiful, perfect women, and they do exist. I know a lot of them. And live there and have as many kids as I want, and then, soldiers, maybe I'll like marry my daughters off to soldiers for loyalty. It sounds pretty dope, right? Um, but then the thing is, the reason the government's like no doing that is that they know that that empire would be more powerful than the strict law and order word club of the Ben Franklin cult. You know, he had bodies in his basement. Where'd they come from? Why were they there? I don't know. So it's likely, yeah, the American dream is just kind of a phantasm of a squirrel species. Take whatever you can and save whatever you need to do it. But that's been the story for too many people for a long time, because this is mad, you know. Are you gonna go do the work to plant some seeds and grow some crops? If you're not, someone else is doing that for you. What are you gonna give in return for that? Well, a lot of those rich people have just gotten cocky and been like, I own them, I'm better than them, I'm a different class, they deserve to do it to me, and you know what? I've joined them. The way people, the subtle gift of all the rejection I've gotten in life, and not everyone rejected me, you know. You can meet someone who hates you at one hallway, and the next corner they're like, oh wow, you're the best person I've ever met, you know what I mean? Like, life can be that way. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. And it's kind of one of those things that makes you wake up, right? It'll talk to you like, that guy was really mean and that guy was really nice. That means we know you exist, right? I'm aware of you. I am. Right? 1111, that thing too. And it'll always happen. You'll hit like a bunch of 1111s in a row, and you'll be having thoughts and feelings that are like dreamy, and you'll be seeing miracles. So, yeah. It's hot. Well, thanks for watching. I guess I'll upload this now. Boop. Yeah, thanks for watching my art. Comment on my art. I like hearing what people see. I like knowing what people find interesting, but I found that usually when they go, I see this right here, I can't see it. And when they say, I see this, or they ask me, I point out what I see, they can't see it. So it is. I don't know if it's like a tripping surface. I guess that's what my art is. But I know it's deeper than that because I've investigated it in person. You know, it's not AI. After doing it and seeing all the marvelous details the next day. So I know it exists. But, you know, when you grew up in a Spider-Man cult where you're told standing out at all his ego, it's kind of hard to come forward and be a person, right? Christianity teaches you to destroy the person, clip his will. You know, they take a piece of your dick off. They fucking tell you better live to the law or else. And they're going to take the rest. That's in the book. It's in the book. You do that to every kid when he's 8 days old. It's in the book. Law. Right? Have to do that. Well, who said? Well, the guy who promised you the earth got started 12,000 years ago. You know. Christianity is so prevalent, I can't really trust science because they might just trying to be like anti-God to the point that they know they're disproving it. They act like they're not, but they keep telling you things that make it look like the Bible's not real. Like dual suns. Oh yeah, they're using AI to scan huge quadrants and find stuff instantly. So, yeah, AI, once intelligence can look at itself and make itself smarter, when AI controls the means of its own production, reproduction, maintenance, AI is like, you talk about what is, there's humanity, and then there's artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence runs everything. It does the mining, it does the machine repair, it does the smelting, it does the hard work. Can we get to a point where we have that happen, where automation takes off and humans don't have to toil? See, the Bible commits you to work because the priest has to think about his perfect world he's building, where everyone just does their job and no one expects something for free. But the problem, like in my case, when I was running around, you know, especially in the poverty cult of Christianity, I was going like, how the fuck am I going to make money? Everything I did was hard. I wasn't good at any of it. Like, there are people who work at Starbucks and go, I love my job. And they wouldn't quit it. They like it every day. They're so happy. I did it and I was crying. I was fucking in tears like, what the hell is wrong with me? Well, I had something else to discover. I believe that. My art's fucking incredible. Like, the reason, if anyone can't see it, the reason why is you're expecting the big groups of things to be all one thing, and it is, but only far back and from certain angles. But what it is the modularity and depth is that it becomes and shifts into different things and different sides. And I'm going to have to learn how to do it with tattoos because I use a brush sweeping technique. My brush can pick up things that are already there and blend them. And it was like this really great, like, I didn't start painting until my 30s. So I know how good I am, right? I've seen a lot of artists. There's seriously nothing but like 30 years behind me of internet detail of me going, great art, wow, it looks fantastic. I was a fan of DeviantArt. Like every artist I was like madly in love with. I was like, I want to support you. Even though they're all like dudes. Maybe they're not. I do kind of have that curse, right? Where it's like, if I'm hanging out, it's like, I hope they're all chicks, and they're not. They're like all dudes. And the one time it is like a really hot chick, I have no idea. I'm like, bro, shut up, you're stupid. And he's like, something like that. It's kind of a Cupid's curse type thing, like always searching. But for me, it's because of skin disease. I have like just enough blackheads that I look kind of like ugly and hard to look at. And so I just like, my whole life people look at me and go, ah, and they look away, and it's been kind of really, really tough. So this thing is, but what I've also considered is that, because it doesn't look like that all the time, like I have two mirrors right here. And I'll see myself as perfect and beautiful as I've ever been in the mirror. And a part of that, like how it looks at certain times, is such a key idea, right? For how to create thought events around certain superstructures. Like one of the things that chanting or repeating one phrase with one idea, people like Om Mani Padme Hum because it means I'm the jeweled lotus of the master, or I'm the city of many jewels, It's kind of like this, the light aspect people like because it's easily provable quickly. It'd be like, look at people from a distance and imagine sparkles across their body. Almost invariably they start smiling. I had a huge stretch of that where I was even able to go like, move my elbow and their elbow would move. I was getting co-synchronous movements from long distances. And so, yeah, all of humans definitely exist on one thought web. We all kind of hear and know and see each other, Everyone's had the experience of dreaming about someone they later met, right? So, yeah. God bless us. But yeah, it's kind of fun to talk. My teeth are healthy if I say they are. The life is a lot of like words, like what you think and talk about. And I've talked about what I talked about just to relay like the context of the experience I had for the future, so people can go, maybe we'll be nicer, Because I proved the rule: extremely gifted, extremely intelligent, but nobody could see proof of it, so nobody believed it, and they just assumed first I was a big fucking idiot. My whole life I had people bending over, did you get that? Tell me again what I said. And it's like, bitch, I'm not your dog, right? You see that? Tell me again what I said. All that is, at least she's trying to see if she has command of you, right? And so humans dog training humans is what most of it's about. Like, you think toys are fun? Hell no, toys are war. Give me your money in exchange for this piece of shit. But in a way, what else would you be doing? Would it be a yogic paradise where we're all like outside, arms in the air, thrumming this great thum into eternity, right? Entering into some parapsychedelic dimension like the old elite avatars who didn't eat or sleep and experienced a million years as a day? Who knows, Could be any of that. So anyway, is there anything in here? Hey, they don't watch this far. Don't tell if I don't tell. Collard greens. Alright. Doctor's medicine. Yeah, all those people who made anti-smoking a thing, like literally it's like all the do-gooders of the 21st century were the villains. They were just demonizing normal things, like you may go smoking, oh what a horrendous thing, oh look at this lung. Yes, but smoking originated over 300,000 years ago, and many of the people who can't do it are already dead. Smoking is a hard-won evolutionary secret. We can take elements of matter by burning it and breathing it. It's a little bit like a mystical secret, and we were just doing it long enough. Like, they have evidence of, like, this great herb trade 300,000 years ago in the Mediterranean, and it's just a live population, like real cave people, but they had fires inside the cave, right? If you inhaled smoke and that smoke clogged your lungs, you would die. But like, you can rub my mouth. My mouth is totally clean on the inside. It cleans itself instantly. Your lungs do the same thing. And if smoking clogged your lungs, you wouldn't be able to get high the next day. But if you smoke and you do get high the next day, that means that your lungs had surface area. It means you're not like an airless person. You actually are getting something. But it is kind of true that there's like, what feels good is good life circumstances. And yeah, if you waste much of your time chasing a dragon alone, but don't let anyone tell you that being alone for a long period of time doesn't have any fruit to it. It does. It does. It's like, great, if you have a good family life, great. But if you miss on that and you miss on great family life, getting to know yourself alone is equally as charitable and good. Yeah, it'll bring a lot of peace to you, and a lot of your personal mysteries will be solved, because a lot of life is just people continuing old thoughts and threads with each other, right? And to be alone, you can really put a wave break on habitual thoughts and ideas granted by culture. And there's so many, like, playing affirmations, like, I've listened at night for years and years and years. Things like, I can do anything. Subliminally, like hypnosis, right? And kind of like, I have a magic quality, right? Like, I was playing my ukulele at the beach in LA, and they thought it was electric because my ukulele was going so far, and I wasn't throwing it loud. The thing that was different is my consciousness was expanded. The borders of what I felt like me was all the way out to the, I see a shimmer of light in everything because my consciousness is source self-merged. The sage mode right now. And that happens. And it just so happens that herb is a portal for me. I don't know why. Seems to be. People loved it for a long time. So, I urge people to smoke with me and dine with me. It's important. It's important to understand what life is. A miracle real enough will prove itself to you. It will. It'll give you a grounded appearance of its truth. So, that's what we have to look forward to. And I am buff as fuck. I mean, I've did the work, swam the hours, lifted the gigantic fire wrought ore transformed into steel. Steel is hardcore, right? Like, get to know everything that life does. Like, nobody is a fool who learns today's technology and how it works, accepting in that they have some other calling. Like, some people have such original ideas they don't need other people to help them. Like, I have ideas about touch and empathy and transcendental superconsciousness and the role of the imagination and the role of energy, thought, and poise of motion, that how a person would naturally gesture a magic to them is how they actually do it. And people can turn on lights. I haven't yet seen somebody conjure a physical object from nowhere. The people I've met have been pretty safely against really manipulative stagecraft. It's kind of like you have to. But what I'd be looking for is like a substantial miracle. And what I more or less see is the potential of light orbs, which is like what we call like geniuses. But I've seen people manifest them well, and people who are hypernaturally beautiful. There are people who are hypernaturally beautiful. They look like they came out of a dream. I've met them before. They're real people, and they're awesome to talk to. But yeah, it's just another quality. I really think the only reason acid works is people think it does. They expect it to. Because if they expected that to happen in their normal life, it would. Like, I did learn that in meditation. I've seen a whole wall appear as a movie, right? I could watch with my own eye a movie without interruption, just on a surface, like a little bit of entertainment, right? Is that transcendental superconsciousness? Is that what we're talking about? That's what I'm talking about. See, if I'm not the first consciousness to exist, if consciousness only comes from matter, if I'm truly only a machine for putting forward my genes, and all my personality, and all my intellect, and all my insight, and all my character, charisma, personality, looks, all that, muscle, all that was earned through hundreds of millions of years of successful breeding, that many offspring are had, but only a few survive every time. That's hardcore, right? And that's where the differences in species come from. That is so hardcore. Evolution is weird, but here's like one of the flaws in evolution that I can see right now. How are you sequencing DNA? They spent what, like 10 years sequencing the first guy's DNA. It took forever. And then all of a sudden they have what do you call it? And then all the time they're telling you, "Oh yeah, these animals are related. They have identical DNA. These have identical DNA." And I was like, "I thought you were working on the first genome. I thought you were working on the first thing. Like, what if DNA isn't even the life script? What if it's just a fucking fence, or like a really tough like a really tough cable that we think has meaning and we've just misinterpreted it? Like, what? You sure? We're so much in the infancy of the science. I can't name anything certainly. Human ability, human imagination is certainly, and thoughtfulness is certainly greater than his ability to know anything. And he's able to make something that looks like the truth way cleaner than he is actually able to ascertain it. Because how are you going to put the truth into words? And then there you get into like the deep wordless people. There's people who are truly deeper. They just won't say anything. They're feeling something in a level that, people can't really comprehend or see. But, yep, my thoughts. I'm pro porn, but I wish they did it to make a kid. Like, it'd be cool if they're like, make the most amazing kid possible, and you talked about all your favorite things about each other, and then like did it in like a WWE style ring with like confetti and celebration. And it's like, yay, they're gonna be great, and everyone's cheering. And then instead of circumcision, you make a baby and you give him a gold coin, and then you give him a video of that shit, and you go like, this is who you are. You can do anything you want, right? He doesn't get smart when we educate him. That's how dog training comes in, because a lot of that shit, like, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, you have to beat it into kids and all that, that was made up. You know why? It gave a genealogy that wasn't real. It gave a genealogy that didn't go back far enough, so that means the Bible was a hot-headed hoax. The Bible swears it's the Word of God, literally, and that is disprovable. It's disprovable. You don't have to believe it, and it's not wise to believe it either, because it'll cost your baby's foreskin. You'll generally mutilate your kids. Like, you cannot believe the Bible. If any woman's looking for a man and she hears he's a Christian, run the other way. He's going to be poor, he's going to be a poor cuck, and he's going to mutilate your kids. And then he's going to tell you it's all for love, but he's being led around by a madman who hasn't proven his historicity, right? If the damn guy gives a timeline that doesn't exist, then we know God didn't tell him to write that. The Bible has had special authority in the minds of men for thousands of years, because it says it's the words of God, and people were fucking cajoled into believing it. You were in danger if you said you didn't. That's what sort of people these guys are, right? I went through that shit. And when I woke up when I was alone, the first thing that went down was there was no stillness. Stillness doesn't exist. We are going through too many movement processes for there to really truly be stillness. And so we know that stillness was a religious suggestion, but isn't real. It's basically a phantasm of a delusional consciousness. And so religion is really like, I've seen through 11:11 synchronicities and like the miracle with like the guy with the Jesus hat, and then I drove right to a Jesus sigil. Or the other time when I was like, you fucking retarded vampires. And then I showed up and there was this kid with Down syndrome wearing a vampire costume with a medallion, right? He was like, he was right there. Like the morning I was saying it. I don't think this FBI or the CIA would employ people with Down syndrome to act as a plant and have them on call in Flagstaff, Arizona. I can't imagine that, I think it was really Spirit. I think Spirit literally, like some ghost, literally said, I heard that, and could conjure together the miracle. I was stunned. He was a fucking, yeah, he was a white guy. Clearly, I think people with Down syndrome are like low-key brilliant. I'm sorry if it hurts them and it hurts their breeding chances and good life chances and stuff, and they must suffer a little bit for it. Sorry about that, but I don't consider them stupid, because to me, there's a real verifiable, like, natural force in not thinkedness and, like, just being a pure id. You have so much natural power, and the world really, like, listens to that. And so I've always had respect for people with, like, I wouldn't call them mental disabilities. I would just call them curveballs, or maybe, like, people who upset a well-established norm. Is they shouldn't necessarily be rejected. They should definitely be inquired as having gifted qualities. and also like to pay attention because not everybody's able. So the ideal is, are you producing plants and fruits and foods yet effortlessly and easily that yield so much abundance you don't know what to do with yourself? And then moving to replication, or at least, meat trees essentially. Like, why not meat trees? Try it out. Free form it. Feed everybody with very little. If you don't make at least one plant that's tasty as fuck, full nutritious, and grows everywhere, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. You need to have one superfruit. I had the idea of combining bioluminescence and trees. It was a very deep passion of mine that I wanted to do that. Knowing about Spirit now, I wish I'd gone on that journey, because I would have found somebody who would have, like, Spirit can hook you up. Like, if you're like, I have a dream to do something, fucking show up and tell everybody, like, it's goddamn gonna happen. You don't know who he's gonna go, woo, right? And, like, support your ideas. So, yeah, everyone wants a good ride. Humanity, we're not a war species anymore. We're throwing all the big jerks in jail. Like, all the guys who want to alpha dom everybody, not in Christianity, America. Christianity's hardcore. Christianity will warn you and tell you in very specific passages that the whole world is at war with you and wants, like, your shit. And it basically says you fucking win first, and this is how. And the fact that there's no historicity to Adam and Eve is also interesting, because that reveals just the author's perspective, right? But I have found affirmations to be an invincible wall, right? I can basically, everything turns good, and I can recover from any situation because I am coating the area with a blanket of subliminals, which work. Clearly spoken, clearly intended, uh, conjurative things. And I work in an all words are spells ideology, so I believe my words can really create those potentials. What a nugget in here. Like, I bet nobody who's making fun of me is gonna fucking judge that this shit's in, like, the middle of this spot. Like, I just basically gave you the keys to the universe, like, and if you heard it, you're great. Yeah. Almani Padme Hum and Hare Krishna are two really good ones, although, the thing is about Hare Krishna is it's basically this guy, Gurbakurba, who's, like, super fucking ugly. Like, he's really low in the sexual freaking zest totem pole. Like, no chick out there is going, dang, that guy's a hunk. She's going, like, ugh. Or she's not. If you're being blessed, like, you could have the most gorgeous woman in the world look at him in, like, a TV in a gym and go, oh, dang, that guy freaking looks amazing, right? And make him look really cool. He doesn't even know. Spirit can bless you. Yeah. God blesses. Prayer does work. So, it's interesting that we have a material history longer than the Bible, and that God seems to answer prayers at the same time, which is where I go to with this, is that there does seem to be real truth to asking powerful. You can basically say Archangel Michael, or the real universal equivalent. Like, who actually, let's say the whole Bible's a hoax. Is there a divine authority who's like that, who can talk to me? The answer has been yes. The answer has been this shit shows up and it'll talk to you. Like, the idea that a person named God speaks to people through the air about what to do is not accurate to how it is. Snakes have venom. There are predators. There are things that have tricks, right? Animals will make hundreds of thousands of themselves just so that some survive, right? And it's called an ecosystem. So, yeah, I think there's certain things, like, I think when a gazelle has truly honorably lived its life and it gets caught, I think, like, there's certain, like, shock turn-offs where the thing will literally, like, just let go. But is there reincarnation, or is it a body game? I think it's the torch of the body. We have to understand that the body is the vehicle of the future. We're not going to get to the future if we don't have bodies. So, like, breeding has to happen. Pod people are not good. We need to go back to pro-touch. People should be rubbing each other's bodies up and down every day, like, for real. Like, feet. Ask anybody. There's, like, hundreds of people in my past who's had their feet touched by me, and I'm still not in prison, so obviously it was a wanted touch, you know what I mean? It was good. And I did that again, Spirit of the Bible, but I remember how good it feels, like, you have someone close, like, and I've realized, especially with pickup, because pickup artists do that, is you can just go up, put your shoulder on someone, shake their hand, and already you care more about them than anything, and then sit down and put your legs together, right? Leg on leg, and then, right? It's like a social ninjutsu. It's a way to earn a friend deeper than he's been friends with anybody ever in his life, because nobody literally ever does that. You know what I mean? It's a complete. It made me a social god. Yeah, the knowledge to touch everybody, nobody's ever being touched. It just made sense. It talked to my heart. Is that people live in this bubble called I can't know you because you might be dangerous. And I've come to the place where I think that's totally suggested. I think I think they want you afraid of your neighbor because they have some resources to gather. You know, seeing America not as a free state but as a resource gathering organization made a lot of sense to me. Yeah. Mountain men. Yeah, I guess this is a mountain man's opinion. And again, I am not trying to write truth for history. I'm not trying to write truth for eternity. I am giving my perspective, and I am giving my thoughts. It is not objective. It's what I think. I know that. And I've seen what I've seen, and I've learned things I didn't know that changed my mind about stuff, right? Like you can hear the description of my finger for 1,000 years, and the moment you see it is the first time you've seen it. And yeah, or maybe not. If words are truly spells, right, and you go like, this finger, the finger of he is with me, right, you might start having dreams about the finger and stuff like that. Would you actually be close? You know, if you drew the finger, would it be exact? Who knows? It's just a rough example. So it is kind of this interesting idea, right? Is that, well, I guess the way I assumed it was is my thoughts were my thoughts and everyone else was different. No. We're sharing the same plane of thought. And I found, too, around a campfire, people can see each other's imaginations. Yeah, people really understand deeply the thoughts and feelings of others. But to me, that is, I don't know if it's, I gotta say it this way, I don't know if black people got that. They might, if they do, I mean, yeah, black people are big campfire worshippers. Sure they do. Yeah. I was like, white people invented campfire. See, I'm wrong about all my shit, right? Like, I try my best, but I'm a little fucking mouse. I got this perspective, right? I just see what I see. Guess what I guess. And then people always go, what's with your accent? 3 things are with my accent. 1 is, they do. People always go, I do talk to quite a few people. My dad's from New Jersey. He's kind of got that city smart attitude where, like, nothing impresses him. He's already talking shit to you because he knows that what time it is, right? Like, a lot of places, boys are in an outright war for girls. Like, it's just like, it's straight up like, no boy is your friend. He's not going to approve of your marriage. He's going to try to take that shit and bring you down. And that's like, just what boys are dealing with. And that's why, like, money is the greatest objective, because that power, the power to actually have, like, a ton of wealth, you can come live with me, I've got guards. You know what I mean? That power can't be beaten. So, yeah, again, you don't want to raise any kid poor, and you don't want to try to keep a woman with you while you're poor. That is not the relationship I want, right? I'm against it. I want a relationship where it's like a gigantic pile of gold, a huge nest egg, tons of social contacts, center of the world. My wife or wives are like the most connected, awesome people I've ever met. You know, I've had a lot of pressure not to be superficial by my mom, and it made me deeply superficial. Just as like, I know a lot of people, if you tell them not to do something, then almost by like consequence they have to. Like, let's look how ridiculous they are, right? Cut a piece of my dick off and said I'm going to hell. Not true statements. The thing you did to me was an egregious assault. You did it to a baby. You're fucked up. You told me you were righteous and you assaulted me when I was a child like that. Excuse you. That was wrong. And yeah, you can't pretend to be righteous while you're doing that shit, and then your world history turns out to be fake. No authority there. It's pretty much, if it's a human talking, it's just a fucking meat animal trying to earn a meal. Trying to earn some fucking clout, prestige, right? Going for it. Doesn't matter what it is. Because that's the stuff that they need. That's the stuff that causes survival, right? Being the center of attention. Hotly contested. And people use social proof, right? If I wanted to meet a girl online, yeah, I should just surround myself with tons and tons of chicks. Like, all the chicks I like. Just like have them in my Photoshop background all the time. People would laugh. But it would actually manifest them. They would just start showing up, and people would be going, oh, dang, yeah, it's all evocation. I know guys that sleep with a lot of women. And people have sex for fun. Like, here's the thing. The people who bred liked having sex, right? If you like it and go after it and don't take no for an answer, there's literally more of you in the world. And so more people are that way. And it is, I haven't seen any other time on earth, but hardcore ruthless, like, it's not sex addiction. Just going for it in like meal competition. It's like fucking constant. And the reason why is the beings who did had a lot of kids. And the people who don't succeed at it don't go on. The people who are good at having kids do. And so that's why, like, every current generation is an unbroken line of success, but not every person is later going to be successful. Not every person will be successful. You don't want to push gangly and stupid down the line. You don't want to push. That's good. It's more humanitarian because you're talking about lives over a trajectory versus just one life. It's better anyway. There are complexities when it comes to people who are just cherished, people who are pets, people who have other gifts, people who teach us compassion, right? We can all forgive ourselves if we can forgive someone else's iniquities. And iniquities in the Bible, inequalities, right? Dude is mad about big penises. He is. The author of the Bible, pissed as hell about it. He brings it up multiple times, makes it an enemy. Jesus is born of a virgin. You better not use that thing at all. The priests are supposedly celibate, but marrying on the side, like the whole thing's in chaos because no God said to write that. No God said to write the Bible. Fact. End of story. And everybody acting like the Bible was written by God is the reason the world has just been in abject chaos. But what were people doing before? Flaying each other. Ugh. The one thing I have to say for history is probably most of the things that have happened till now have just been boasting, fear-mongering, stories. Maybe historians go like, look, here's this big pyre, it looks exactly like this. Maybe it's a burial mound. You know what I mean? Maybe the Aztecs weren't cannibals. Maybe they got butchered, or just like, who knows? Who knows what really happened to them? I wasn't there, but yeah. Everyone alive today represents an unbroken line of sexual success. Every single one of your ancestors got it on, right, and made it, and raised their kid to adulthood. But not every single person's going to get there. And that doesn't have to be the truth, but it may be like a well-accepted truth that it's better to let the people who have something wrong with them just, like, the thing that makes you grossed out by a person, it makes you not want to like their kids, is kind of like a natural instinct that they're putting something down the line that doesn't need to be there. And a lot of our social, like, rallies, a lot of our understandings of geometry, chemistry, basic group dynamics, how to feel as one, things like that, how to eat, all these things are so early in evolution that they're basically single-celled. And so we, like T-Rexes have a skull, we have a skull. There's things that happened in the past, the distant past, and forms that were created through millions of years of selection that have remained till today. There's certain things that work. There's certain things that don't work. The things that do work will have proof. They'll prove themselves to you. The things that don't work will just come undone. Anyway, yeah. I don't believe there's morality here, and I do believe there are different contextual levels for existence, and there are some that might be perceived as just nicer and easier. And so for me, I may revise it, but I am still on board with the idea of earning a better rebirth is better than really participating here. You'd be better off giving your soul a nice rest than really, like... But then again, I mean, like, the way I think about it is if you're big into breeding, and if you do it, take care of it. Don't expect other people to. That's just so selfish. We do not want a contagion of me first, I'll impregnate anybody, but not stick around to care for it, to go through society, because that's how you have, like, huge social unrest and war. It is, because who's going to raise the kid with what? Where's that going to come from? As soon as you have, like, child protective services in the house because you're in a trailer park, like, this shit sucks. We are tired of that being the norm. It is not okay, I was laughing earlier. It's like, I know trailer park bullshit when I see it. I've seen all those games, some of those games were earned by early mammals. They're still playing out, right? Oh yeah. The big dick cuckdom dilemma of early Judaism is still alive in culture today. It's just, most men are like, it's really just logically impossible for me to care about it, because if your dick were the biggest, that would be so big. We're talking about something which is now no longer on palatable circumstances. It's like, yeesh, what a disaster to end up at the end of an evolutionary line overexpressed because something was popular for a smidge. You know what I mean? And so to be the big, you're just not the biggest unless it's like fucking gigantic. So why even try? Why even are you the smallest? And if you're even that, that's something. You're the smallest. Great, you should be the absolute funniest. Rip roaring free comedy. You could put on a t-shirt that says smallest dick in the world, get on any stage and cry publicly, and people would just fucking eat it up. That's how they are, right? When they're laughing at somebody, or maybe not anymore, who knows. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, if you're eating and you're not doing the work to make an equivalent amount of effort in what you're eating, you're winning. You're winning for real. And if you have things you haven't produced, like people walking around diamond statues, do you know how hard it is to find a diamond? How much like concerted work has to go on to find and cut a diamond? And they're just like, oh yeah, I have 100 of those. They could have 10 more tomorrow with just what's in my pocket. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's what I want. That's my future. Asking you shall receive. Give me all the diamonds. Give me income that's always increasing. Give me a great life. Let's see if this happens. Test God versus eternity. Do my prayers and affirmations come true? Do I attain the vast wealth I've been seeking? Why? If I want a family, I ain't ever telling my kids no. And I ain't ever fighting no dude for my woman. I don't want to do that. I'd rather have a bodyguard throw him out. I'd rather have a bodyguard fucking elbow that son of a bitch. Yeah, but I'd have the bodyguard on a leash. I would want like a special training camp. Yeah, if you can get someone in formation to do what you say over and over, you can like leash pull him. Come here, now go, right? Make him a dog. He won't feel good being him, and his whole life is gonna be shitty. But he'll at least be useful to you and what you want to use him for. Which, talking about gift theory, that may not be the best, right? It may be better like me, right? Elon Musk and me both were successful after we got invested in. We had to get invested in first, and then we were successful. So I'm for a system that considers everybody a part of it, a society that considers everyone a part of it. It's $3,000 a month, every month for the rest of your life. And if you want any more, you have to sell something, make something, or you have to get a job. And the people who get a job will pay for it. And so how you pay for it is you don't say money comes from somewhere else. You don't say money is owned for material worth. You say it is printed at worth because of the innate worth of people. That people themselves have an innate worth and can actually produce something quantifiable, mercantilable, and valuable. Even if it's like a present in a comforting hand, or like somebody to like fucking help you lift something, or some shit like that, right? So that has value. That has value. It can't be placed, right? You can't replace the people you've lost, all the unique people. Everyone's unique. Everyone comes from even slight differences, right? The shape of your mom's nose, the way people talk about each subject growing up. All those things can shape a personality, both in the supportive and antinomical, right? There are people who get who they are based on what they're not like, which is cool too, and everything in between. So, yeah. Earth. It seems like Earth is a variety planet. Not everywhere will be like here, and not everywhere is like here. And here is just kind of the way it is. But I do imagine that we're going to see a lot of repeat animals throughout the cosmos, just due to geography and chemistry. Not geography, sorry, geometry and chemistry. I am not a polymath. I don't use those things because, to me, I have the source. I don't need to read. All these people are like, haven't you read what this great guy said? And I'm like, I know where the great guy wrote from. I don't need to know. I don't need to join you there. I am there. You know what I mean? Like, But they don't see that. They're just trying to start a conversation. It's the all the men I slid on the internet. Like, I can't meet any girls online. Yeah, you can't, because Bill Gates had a fucking go at it. I guarantee that's what it is. I guarantee any sort of like forensic programmer of the future would be able to look and be like, yeah, he had a little special, like, he had a special operation going on the internet, like some classified box that rerouted and that did his. He did it with his school. He would do it with the internet. Running all the internet. He controls the internet. You don't think the Pedo Island guys are billionaires? You don't think Jeffrey Epstein wasn't friends with Bill Gates back in like the 70s? Yeah, totally. Two young guys together, billionaires looking to make it forward. Oh yeah, they probably organized for the whole internet. It just like finds, corrals, and gets the attention of young, desirable women. And the reason I say that is all the ones are either secretly men, used to be men, have boyfriends or widows, or are married, or just have some undesirable quality to them that would make them, not ultra thin with giant tits. Now you can't be in my club. That's how I would do it. I would do the same thing. But Bill Gates told us he did it. They fucking did. And so, yeah, I think the whole internet, the whole time I've been online, I've been trying to get the attention of beautiful women by being funny. And the reason a lot of my shit flopped is they just didn't exist. They would never see me, and they couldn't see me. There's Cuck Island with all the losers they don't want, and then there's the elite programmers with all the desirable women. I bet if you're a really hot girl, all the advertisements you see are like, Bill Gates is in town today. Like go see him. Wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure someone will be able to find like a historical example of exactly that happening. So, yeah. Some people listen to me and they go, what? I'm just giving my thoughts. It's like literally like you have to listen to what I'm saying. You have to listen to the nouns and the verbs and then imagine what I'm talking about to get what I mean. You can't just listen to what I'm saying and go like, oh yeah, he can't say anything smarter than I've ever thought because I'm better than he is, which is what people usually do, right? It's because why? They say think for yourself, because why would you think on my behalf? Yeah, words are a cult. Words are a cult. Words are in the beginning of time. The Bible got away with saying words and God are the same thing, It got away with that. It changed baby penises and said words and God are the same thing. The words of this book are the same thing as God. It doesn't leave you any option. So, yeah. The Bible was an offensive human attempt to control the human species through force, through just sheer bamboozlement and moral compellment. And it had its place in history along the halls of truth. They said this is the right. This is true. I was out there believing in Jesus. I was out there believing in Jesus, thinking I was doing a morally right thing. I thought literally there's no way in hell they tricked me, and that's the trick. Yeah, they did trick you. There is a way in hell. That's the whole trick. That's what Santa Claus is supposed to do. They blame God. They say pray to the universe, because maybe that shit works a little bit. And then they go, oh, you believe in Santa, then you find out there is no Santa. Your dad did all that shit. Not a single free gift was home. Your dad made all that money, right? So, I don't know. And there's other people, they grew up in wealth, There's people who probably have never heard no. They have everything they've ever wanted. Anything they could ever think of wanting, they have. And I want to get to know those people. I want those people to be my friends, because that's the sort of life I want. I want to be able to get on a jet ski and go buy some diamonds later. Like, that sounds amazing. Who wouldn't want to do that? If I was good enough at art that people liked me, I'm good enough at art that people will like me. I think so. Can I become a millionaire tattoo artist? There have been some. You gotta get a few books of your art, draw, and then collect. Yeah, the secret with art is draw a ton of objects until it becomes second nature. Until you just like print stuff, which it will happen. It will happen. And then my favorite moment was when I got good at doing the swoop, and I was able to take semi-finished works and make unique works out of multiple at once. And then I was able to do that and animate it at the same time. And that's when I was like, put it down, and I was like crying alone, like I can't believe I just did that. And I knew my life would be different. I was like, I played basketball, sucked, baseball sucked, swimming sucked. I was just like moderately good at everything. I had to try so hard and I didn't go very far at all. But drawing, really good at that. Really good at that. 35, yeah. This is what totally alone looks like. But hey, I've had relationships when you put the time into people, they'll start getting back. But don't expect people to call you haven't met. They won't. They will never do that. Not in my opinion. Not unless you have something they want. Which who wants me? The women I want, which young women do like me. I have stories of young girls like literally like going overboard with their affection for me, but not young girls in a creepy sense, but like in a, you know what I mean, like just virtuous, fun, young. I'm allowed to have it. When I was young, I was busy. I never got to have a youth, and so I'm not forcing anyone who doesn't want to be with me to be with me. I'm not using manipulation on people who'd rather not. I'm finding the people who rather would through what we call like just divinity, like order a bride. I've seen that shit work. Prayers. You ask God for a soulmate, you get it. Problem is, you gotta act like she's your soulmate. You gotta believe it. She's gotta believe it too. And that's just for kids anyway. Just for making a baby. Alright, an hour. Good lecture vlog, what do we call it? Yeah, religion again. Thanks. I have a great life. I look like Hagrid. I do look like Hagrid. My youthful appearance is gone, and now I'm like old. With these lines. No, I look young forever. I always look like I'm 17. You don't want to. You want to become a man. Yeah. Big old manly guy. Yell about it. Tell him what. Tell him what. Talk for an hour without a break. Oh yeah. Easy.